It's quite different than a Range Rover. So the Range Rover Big Daddy one starts at $90,000 plus. The Range Rover Sport starts at $68,000 plus. This is a step down. It's meant to compete more with the BMW X5, Audi Q7, Mercedes-Benz GLE, and the Volvo XC90 amongst many others. One of the things I love most about Land Rovers is the armrest game is super strong. Here, 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 one there. Go to the back row. You have here, here, and here. So you can always find a place to rest your arm. Bunch of areas for storage. Big enough for a giant water bottle. This particular model has a cooler to keep your drinks cold. Place to put your wallet and keys and other stuff and phone. This is a cup holder, yep, but it also has more storage underneath it. Very clever. You have a glove box as always, but you also have another glove box. Pretty cool. Very interesting use of materials on the inside. This is not rubber, this is not leather. Both of these are somewhat of a surf suit cloth material, so if it gets dirty, you can easily wash it off with water. This wood grain is so real that you can actually get splinters from it. Maybe, I'm just kidding. The old Discovery used to have a split gate, not this one. Instead, you have an automatic folding shelf type of thing. Push this button here, this area folds down. Land Rover says that can hold up to 660 pounds plus. That's crazy when you're done using it. Push the button. It goes back up automatically, so you don't have to do it yourself manually because you're rich. And then you can just close it. Some things I found weird and I don't like is this giant framing on the inside. It looks super awkward when you close the door. I get it might be a cool thing on the design for the outside, but the inside it looks weird. And what is this? Why isn't this going all the way down? Are we in 1995? Legroom can be an issue. So, say your front row passengers are tall, and you're tall and you're trying to get back here. I'm 6 foot. That's a 6 foot seating position. It can get pretty uncomfortable if your second row passengers are tall. Volvos have an automatic release for the headrest, but over here, you have to do it manually, and then you have to put them up manually. Pricing for the Discovery SE, the base model, starts at $52,300. As tested here, loaded up with the options, you're looking at above $78,000. Food for thought, that's 10 grand more than the starting price tag of a Range Rover Sport. So make sure you do your homework when you load it up with options. You have the choice of two V6 engines. One right here is the turbo diesel V6 making 254 horsepower and 443 pound-feet of torque. You can also go for the supercharged V6 making 340 horsepower. That's probably the one that I would go for since I don't do any towing or off-roading. I just want a smooth gas engine. The diesel does sound a little bit loud under hard acceleration. Both engines are mated to an 8-speed automatic transmission. 0 to 60 for the diesel comes in at 7.7 seconds with a top speed of 130 miles an hour. If you want to go faster, go for the supercharged V6, where you can do 0 to 60 in just 6.9 seconds. And it's not as loud and it's cheaper. The diesel engine costs extra. This segment is super competitive, so there is a long list of rivals here, including the Audi Q7, BMW X5, Mercedes-Benz GLE, and the Volvo XC90, and maybe even the Range Rover Sport. But as you can see, the Discovery is pretty competitively priced with the rest of this segment. Fuel economy for the diesel model comes in at 21 city, 26 highway. As you can see, I'm averaging 24.1 miles a gallon. I just filled it up at a gas station near me where diesel was priced at $2.95 for a total of $54.74. Your tank capacity comes in at 22.5 miles a gallon. As you know by now, I don't go off-roading at all, but what sets the Discovery apart from the rest of this competitive segment is its legendary, outstanding off-road capabilities. For example, if you decide to drive through a river, you can drive through 33.5 inches of water. Competitors like the BMW X5, Mercedes-Benz GLE, and the Volvo XC90 can only drive through about 20 inches to 25 inches of water. Hope you enjoyed that time-lapse video of the air suspension. This is set to the off-road setting, which gives you 11.1 inches of ground clearance, and normal ride height will give you 8.3 inches of ground clearance. To change drive modes, you use this knob here, and you have the option to select between auto, comfort, grass, gravel, snow, mud ruts, sand, and rock crawl. And if you want to go to sport mode, you turn the knob here, the transmission knob, to drive, and then you push down and move it to S for sport. I don't mind the design at all. I love Land Rover's new design language. It's a very contemporary British luxury design. I do feel like designers were in the design room battling between whether they want a boxy look or a rounded look, and they found a perfect balance of both. It looks very tall from some angles, and it looks very narrow from other angles. Here are the headlamps with the indicators on. I love the design, and an awesome thing, this isn't a part of a giant, expensive LED lighting package. Those are standard across all Discovery models. And here are the tail lamps with the indicators on. All LED, everything. You get a laughable nothing behind the third row. If you're wondering what this is the all-weather mat for the trunk. If you go for the upgraded model, you can get automatic folding seats. I prefer manual because they're much quicker. When you lay the third row down, you get 41.2 cubic feet of space. And if you lay the second row down, you get about 84 cubic feet of space. Big enough for you to pack basically anything in here. The interior is pretty luxurious and very competitive with the rest of the segment. Obviously, it's not as upscale as Range Rovers. Range Rovers use better materials and better leather. This one, still very luxurious and very nice, but you can see instead of the dual screen infotainment that the new Range Rover models come with, this has a single screen infotainment system, which is probably not a bad thing. I'll get into more of that later. The gauge cluster is pretty simple. It is all digital. One thing I don't like is that the needles lag. When I'm paying this much for a car, these things should be performing pretty well and fast. They shouldn't lag behind. Basically, you can go to menu and you can change the display layout. You have 2-dial, 1-dial, full map. Here's what full map looks like. Let me just close out of this really quick. That's what full map looks like. It's a nice view. My personal favorite. Well, let me just show you 1-dial first too. This is what 1-dial looks like, and then you can change this to display whatever you want. I have it at driver assist. And then if you want, you can also display media on the full screen. My personal favorite is the 2-dial. And then you can go and change what you want in the center. You can pick between driver assist, map, trip summary, media. I like map. And this is how it looks in my favorite setting. Unlike the Range Rover models, which have dual screen infotainment systems, the Discovery gets a single screen. It's a 10-inch screen, which is standard across all models. It has Apple CarPlay, it has Android Auto, and I like single screen infotainment systems better than dual screens because for some reason they never just work together properly. I also like real HVAC controls because you can easily access them without jumping through like 10 menu options. Overall, Land Rover and Jaguar share the same infotainment system, and it has been pretty bad in the past couple of generations, but they've improved it a lot. Performance is much better than it used to be, and I find it to be smooth, quick, but I still find myself using Apple CarPlay more often than not, just because that's what I like. It just is a better integration for me. I like Google Maps, I listen to Spotify, all of that's right there in Apple CarPlay. For this price tag, I do wish that you had a better camera system. What you have here is not bad, but it's not great either. So you have this camera button and you can go to different camera angles. You can go front, back, and then you have a 360 view, which comes out really, really small, but then it says double tap image to zoom. So you can double tap the back and you can double tap the front to zoom in, but it's very small when it's in regular 360 mode. I don't mind it, but it's not something to me that feels like belongs in a $70,000 plus car as loaded here. Sound system entertainment is provided by Meridian. Very good quality bass, very good quality treble. One thing I did notice, the Meridian sound setting here is not as good as Adobe surround system here. That's my setting. It sounds the best for me there. I listen to hip hop and that works for me. The seats are very, very comfortable. That's one thing in general that I love about Land Rovers is the seating position. It's very high, and I think that's what most people like. I love the armrest game here. It just feels really nice. You feel like a king just driving down the road. Very comfortable seats, 2 thumbs up there. You can get heated and cooled seats as a part of packages. The cheapest way to get heated seats is the cold climate package for $1,275, which also gives you heated steering, heated rear seats, and heated front seats. To turn on heated front seats, you push and you spin the dial, and then you have heated seats on. If you want cooled seats, you have to go for more expensive packages, which are like around $3,000 or something like that. Second row passengers enjoy 37.6 inches of legroom. Enjoy with a grain of salt, because if your driver is tall, you don't have much leg room here. But you can move the second row forward and backward 6 inches by doing that. This model here has a cold climate package, so you get heated rear seats on both sides, and then you get a 2 5-volt DC outlets and more storage. Depending on the model you get, you can get automatic moving second row seats, but this one has a manual one, so you pull the latch, push forward to access the third row. I'm gonna climb back there. You have 33.5 inches of legroom back there. Land Rover says that they made it so a 6'2" male can sit here comfortably. So let's move this back. I got pretty good legroom back here. But if I move to the one that's moved all the way back 6 inches, not that much legroom, but it's not terrible. Depending on the model you get, you can get heated seats back here. You have cup holders, and that's about it. I love the new Land Rover steering wheel design. They're very nice to hold, very nice leather around them. You do have paddle shifters, plus and minus, but yeah, pretty cool steering wheel. Now that I've answered all of your questions about the 2020 Land Rover Discovery, I'm going to give you my opinion on what I think about this car. And when I first got into the Land Rover Discovery, I kept thinking, who would buy this car? And honestly, the obvious answer is people that live in cold weather climate, people that go have an active lifestyle, go off-roading, live in Alaska or something like that, or somebody that just doesn't want to buy a BMW, Mercedes-Benz, Lexus, or an Audi. They want to set themselves apart for the crowd. I think those are the people that would probably buy the Land Rover Discovery. Now, when I first got into the Discovery, I had it in auto mode, and then I realized if you push the drive mode toggle down, it goes into comfort mode, and this thing becomes so comfortable and so insanely smooth. It's very planted on the ground. It doesn't bounce around a lot. It's a very smooth daily driver if you're buying this for your family. And then I got thinking, would I buy this over the Range Rover? Depends. The Range Rover Big Daddy one starts at $90,000. Range Rover Sport starts at $68,000. This as equipped is $78,000. So that's a 10 grand difference in between the starting price tag of a Range Rover Sport and this loaded Discovery, so I might have some decisions to make. That being said, if you are in the market for a luxury SUV and you have an active lifestyle, you go off-roading, you live in the mountains, and you need something capable of handling that, the Land Rover Discovery will let you go anywhere, do anything better than all of its rivals. As always, I recommend test driving every option available in a particular segment that you're shopping in, and pick one that fits your budget, fits your lifestyle, because you don't want to be unhappy making a decision that you will regret years from now. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Make sure you hit subscribe. Make sure you follow me on Instagram at Omar Drives, and make sure you like this video because that does something. Make sure you comment, and make sure you follow me on Instagram at Omar Drives because that's where I get all the questions that I answer in these videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.